if you lie and if you pretend to be something else just because you think that those will be the abilities that they will like from you, from that specific job, you will get hired and you'll hate working there. The technical interviewers basically fail that candidate because of soft skills. You don't really need to think that the interviewers know it all and the way that they assess is the perfect way. Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Cornelia and I usually post here videos about subjects that interest me. And lately they are about corporate life, how to build your CV, what to say, not to say in job interviews, and speaking about all of these interview environments because I do work in talent acquisition and basically this is my 9-to-5 job. Like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, comment down below, and also like this video if you of course like it. In today's video I wanted to debunk some myths about interviews and this interview setting because a lot of candidates are asking me this, if it's applicable or not in current environment in job interviews. There are a lot of myths that you really don't need to follow. So without further ado, let's debunk some myths and let me know in the comments down below if you agree with me or not. So first of all is that you need a suit to go to an interview or that you need to dress very formal for an interview. This is not really the case. I mean, if you don't own a suit and you need to go to an interview, you can use like a shirt or just dress nicely, decent, with clean clothes, I guess. I mean, you really don't need to go and buy one. Now, it really depends on the type of job that you are applying for. For example, if you apply to jobs where you need to have a specific dress code, like a lawyer, like a manager, a director, etc. Of course, it will be great if you can wear something a little bit more formal. But if you apply for, I don't know, a software developer position, a junior role, a call center type of role, customer service, etc., you really don't need to go there dressed like you are going to a wedding or to a funeral. You just need to be decent dressed. The second myth is that you need to talk a lot when you are answering the questions. And this is really a bad idea in my opinion. You really don't need to talk a lot to show that you are confident or to show that you know what you're talking about, because this will take from the time that the interviewer has to ask you all of the questions that they need to ask. And of course, assess all of the skills that they need to assess based on your answers to those questions. So you really don't need to speak a lot, to blab a lot, to share a lot of details about a certain situation, because this will confuse the interviewer. It will take too much time. And of course, if the more you speak, the more you have the chance to say something that will be inappropriate in an interview setting. So I believe that your answer should be on point. You just really need to answer the question and not blab a lot about a certain subject just because you think that this will make you look confident in your abilities or in your expertise. The third thing is that you need to ask questions at the end of the interview, because this will show the interviewer that you care about the company or the job. No, you really don't need to answer this. I mean, of course, answer questions that you want to hear the answer for. For example, what's the team about? What will be my KPIs? Stuff like that. So if you're really interested in that answer, of course, ask the question at the end of the interview or ask the interviewer, the representative of the company or who is the person that you are in contact with. Ask if you want to know the answers, but don't ask questions just because you want to show the interviewers that you care about the company. I mean, it's more important if you respond in a good manner when they are checking your motivation for the role during the interview than it is to ask 5 or 6 questions at the end of the interview just because you want to show them that you care. I have a candidate that asked around 10 or 15 questions after an interview, and I had to cancel the interview that I had after him because he wouldn't stop asking me all of these questions that were irrelevant. So he was asking things like, what's my opinion as an interviewer or as a recruiter about certain things? If I want to work from home more than I want to work from the office? What's my opinion on the communication in a company? So there were all of these irrelevant questions to the job or to the company just because he wanted to ask these questions, because most likely he read in a forum or online that it's good to ask a lot of questions at the end of the interview. No, it's not. It's fine if you really don't have any questions. It's fine if you don't ask anything. The fourth myth is that you need to sell yourself and to be cocky and to be overconfident. Tell the interviewer about your achievements, tell about your goals, about the things that you achieved, performance, etc. But you really don't need to be arrogant about it. And I feel like all of these sites and forums where you read this, it's not really in your benefit, because from the outside you look like you are cocky and arrogant about your job. Another thing, you don't really need to treat the interviewers like they are beneath you. This is really awful and it's really off-putting for the interviewers. So yeah, sell yourself or tell the interviewers your achievement, but try to have a neutral attitude about it, and because otherwise you'll be looking very arrogant and most likely a person that it will be hard to work with. Another myth that I want to debunk is that you need to answer to every question in the interview setting. You really don't need to do that. I mean, if you have like a question that you don't know the answer to, it's totally fine. I don't know the answer to. Or if you want to dodge a question. For example, I had this candidate, his answer was really smart and I appreciate it. I asked him if he has one weakness and of course to tell me about it. And he told me he knows that he has a lot of weaknesses, as every human does, but he never encountered a situation in his work life, in his experience until now, where all of those weaknesses appear. He controls himself very well, and he is a professional person that doesn't allow all of these weaknesses interfere with his work and his performances. So yeah, this was, in my opinion, a great answer. I mean, he dodged the question. He didn't tell me like a weakness that he had, and he basically told me that, of course, I have weaknesses as every other human out there, but because I'm a good professional, I don't allow them to interfere with my work. So yeah, great answer. Didn't answer to my question, but it was a great answer. Also, when the interviewer is asking you a personal question, you don't really need to answer to those. If you are married, how many kids you are, if you're planning having kids in the future, yada yada. Literally, you can just stop there and say, I don't think that this question is relevant to the interview and relevant to my assessment and the skills that you have to assess for this role. And that's it. As I said, you really don't need to answer to all of the questions. It's totally fine. You really need to find a balance to it. It's okay if you can answer to one or two questions in the interview, but you have to answer to most of the questions in an interview setting. Another myth that I think it should be debunked is that you need to tell the perfect answer and not being sincere in an interview. So here I have a big problem, because there are a lot of people on the internet when they are basically telling you the right answer that you should say if the interviewer is asking you a specific question. And of course you learn it by heart and then you tell it in the interview and it comes off across unauthentic. I mean, we can tell that you learned that thing and you just blob it there. We can really get to know you, and even though you gave like the right answers to the interview, most likely you'll fail, because we can see, I mean, the interviewers can see the fact that you are not authentic in the interview. And here another issue, and I spoke about it in other interviews as well, is that if you lie and if you pretend to be something else just because you think that those will be the abilities that they will like from you, from that specific job, you will get hired and you'll hate working there, because that job or that environment won't be fitted for your personality, for your skills, and for the things that makes you feel happy at work, or makes you feel, I don't know, pleased at least at work, if not happy. So yeah, don't lie in an interview. Don't learn answers by heart. I mean, yeah, if you want to get inspiration when you are preparing your answer for a specific interview, you can read all of these right answers that you read on forums and you see on YouTube videos and so on. But you need to try to make them authentic and tailored to your personality, to your style, to your way of talking, etc. Another myth is that soft skills doesn't matter. So the HR interview is just a discussion, is a joke, and I should focus only on the interview with the technical interviewers where they are assessing me the hard skills for the specific job. No, this is a myth. If you are a good professional, but you are hard to work with because you are arrogant, because you don't want to take feedback, because you don't want to adapt your way of working to the company processes, because you have problems while communicating, all of this will make you fail the job interview. I had candidates before, they were a great professional, so yeah, they were great at what they were doing, but they have problems communicating those things. They were like interrupting me a lot, they were talking a lot, and I was brushing all of these things off because they were really great at what they were doing. I get them to the interview with the technical interviewer. They had to assess the technical skills that the person had, and the technical interviews couldn't even assess the technical skills because of the way that he was communicating and interrupting there a lot. So yeah, the technical interviewers basically failed that candidate because of soft skills that I brushed them off because he was great at what he was doing, and not for the technical skills that they had. Another example, I had an interview with this person that had 20 years of experience, great professional, great work experiences, etc., etc. He said that he doesn't want to work in a team. He said that he doesn't want to work with other people and that he finds it really hard to coordinate and to communicate with the members of his team. I mean, I had to reject this candidate at the soft skills testing stage because, of course, I can get you hired in a position where you basically don't want to work with your coworkers. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that you're a great professional at what you're doing, but for a company where teamwork is very important, you won't be a good fit. You won't adapt, even though you are great at what you're doing. Another myth that I want to debunk is that interviewers know what they do always. This is not quite true. So, not everyone is trained to be an interviewer. And this is especially for the technical interviewers that you see, because they are basically simple employees from the company. They are professionals in that specific field, and they want to assess your technical skills. Not all of them have a training or have interviewing skills. I work with interviewers that assess the candidate without even reading the job description before that. I personally know interviewers in the HR realm that told me they just ask random question, or they have like this set of random questions that they ask. They don't really want to assess the answers candidate, but they just ask them to fill in the time in the interview, just in case they finish earlier than the time that it was allocated for that interview. So yeah, if you think that you are great in an interview and the rejection feedback wasn't like the most detailed one or just like a general one, you can just brush it off. I mean, of course, learn from every experience that you had. But if you think that something was off during the interview, you don't really need to think that the interviewers know it all and the way that they assess is the perfect way, because sometimes it's not. And as I said, as a professional, I've encountered a lot of cases like this in my experience. Another myth that I want to debunk is that you need to keep the eye contact with the interviewers at all time. You don't really need to stare into their soul for 1 hour or 30 minutes. I mean, it's fine. You can like look for a few seconds on the wall or on the window. It's totally fine. You really don't need to look into their eyes every second and like stare at them for every second and minute of the interview. It's fine if you like break the eye contact for a few seconds. It's totally fine. They won't think that you are not interested in the job or in the position. And the last myth that I want to debunk is that you should write a message or an email to the interviewers after the interview and thank them for their time to interviewing you. I think that this is very unnecessary and kind of useless. I mean, of course, you can do that if you want. It will only take like 2 minutes to write a message back. But for me, it really doesn't make any difference. If your performance during the interview was really bad and after that you send me that message where you're basically telling me that you enjoy speaking with me, I'm not going to give you a job or move you through the next stages just because you write me that message that you liked speaking with me in an interview, even though your performance was bad during the interview. People in general are emotional, and sometimes their evaluation is influenced by the way that they felt in that specific scenario. So yeah, if you want to do this, you can do it because you will make the interviewer feel, I don't know, pleased. Or maybe you will show that you cared enough to send a message to thank for their time to interviewing you. But for me, and in my opinion, I think it's useless because I personally assess people in terms of their skills and not how they made me feel in an interview or after it by sending me a thank you message. So guys, this is all from my side. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Maybe you have other myths. Maybe you disagree with me on something that I said or not. I would really like to know your opinion about it. And don't forget to check one of my other videos here where I speak about how to answer to different interview questions. Bye. See you next time.